All right, we are here. Happy Tuesday. We're back. Digital Marketing Network. Mickey Black, Jennifer J. How's it going? We are back in the mix. How's it going? How you doing today?
It's going good. I'm doing absolutely fabulous.
Awesome, awesome. So it's a big week. So I saw they had the Apple Developer Conference yesterday, and something's up when they had the picture of Sam Altman right in the front row, and so they released the big news, a big thing for, I guess, if you're into AI and digital marketing. Siri is now going to be using ChatGPT as its AI engine. So I guess, Apple realizing OpenAI is ahead of the game and just, picking it up right and putting ChatGPT right into Siri to use. What do you think of that? That's some crazy news, but what do you think of that?
I immediately think of the word accuracy. So, you know, how accurate is the data that you're requesting going to be, right? Because we know a lot of times ChatGPT will just give you erroneous data from, you got to back it up. So if I'm asking, I don't want to say her name because I know it'll fire up my phone and probably my computer because all of my stuff is Apple. But if you're asking for something, how does it know which database to tap into? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's my tech mind.
Gotcha. And so that's an interesting point, but I think the word that comes to my mind is personalization. So your device knows a lot about you, and so it can use that knowledge. So say for instance, if I'm talking to my device, I'm like, I want to go to Target. It knows geographically where I am, my neighborhood, and it knows my habits. And so it can now use Chat GPT combined with that knowledge to spit up more personalized information, which is interesting. But also with the full knowledge that whether it's accurate or not, a lot of consumers are now going to be leaning on their devices in that way. Like they're just going to blurt it out.
Mhm.
So it's even more important that you be present because a lot of like search is now just going to be voice. So when people are looking, it's not even going to be on Google anymore. It's going to be on their device. So being present in Yelp, the Google My Business profiles, because those are the databases that they're going to query. They're not even going to go to the web anymore. They're just going to go to these public databases. And when you say, what's the best pizza in my neighborhood, you're not even going to get to the Google search. It's going to spit up and just tell you what you're supposed to order. And people
Mhm.
are probably going to just order right off of that device, not
Right.
even going to Google search anymore. You're just going to tell your device, hey, Siri, hey, the one that starts with an A, because that's what I've got. So,
So I can say, Alexa, you can't say,
yes.
and I can't say the other word.
They're just going to ask their device, like, what's the best plumber in my area? Send them to me. And they're not even going to hit the Google search. So if your brand isn't present in those databases, you're not going to get seen. What do you think about that?
I think it's good and it's bad, right? So it's good for those of us who do have a digital presence, but it's bad for those who don't, right? And so if you're asking, where I know a lot of times because um I'm not aware of what surround me because I'm in a new state. So a lot of times we'll have to search certain things. So like if I was searching, well, where's the closest bowling alley, right? Um, or where's the best bowling alley? what is it going to pull up? So the fact that you said it's going to query those databases, the best bowling alley may not be in Yelp or be or claim their Google My Business profile
Yeah.
or any of that. So it's going to pull up the people who are present.
Yeah.
So that's huge for businesses.
Yeah. And it reminds me of this thing they talk of. It's you hear the term digital divide.
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
really that division of businesses that are present
Mhm.
versus are not, and that gap between the
Mhm.
performance and survival of businesses that don't necessarily have that digital footprint because like you said, a lot of people are new and, resort to the web searches or whatever. And if you're not present, you're not going to get seen. If you're not seen, your business isn't going to thrive. And that could
Mhm.
mean just difficulty economically for
Right.
your business.
Right. It just is your business present. I
Yeah.
yeah. And we've been talking about it, just getting your business digital ready, right? For not even just marketing, but being available in the space. I think that's going to be the huge division, and it's going to cost some businesses,
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, just like when the internet came about. Like imagine if you had a business and you didn't have a website. So how would people find you? Now the equivalent is whether it is these directories, the Yelp or the Google My Business profiles. If you're not present, you're not seen, you're not showing up in those little boxes on the side of the Google search. And now
Mhm.
you're not popping up on the radar of the devices and the voice search. It's going to be difficult to thrive. So, what are and I know we mentioned the Google My Business or the GMB profiles. Do you have a GMB profile?
I do.
Okay. Do you
Yes, I
see
do.
a lot of activity on it? Do you monitor it at all?
I do, and one good thing that Google does as well is send you your reports. So it lets you know that you've had this many visits to your profile, this many people clicked and visited your website. It sends you this report every month, and what it also does is help you stay accurate with your operating hours, right? So as holidays come, it's like, hey, Memorial Day is coming up. Is Premier Business Systems open? Or, check your Google business profile and make sure your times are right. So it does that. Now, whether people follow that or not is different, but it does. And it shows me like, oh, hey, your visits were down this much from last month or last week. So it does. And I do see
Cool.
traffic from there as well.
Cool. And speaking of those channels, because those are like the reputation management channels.
Mhm.
You ever use Yext?
No, I haven't used Yext yet.
Okay, because that's a big deal. I know a lot of the folks use Yext to manage. I think it's like 86 different
Mhm.
platforms like Google My Business, Yelp, and Yellow Pages, and all the other ones. It's like
Mhm.
one channel
Mhm.
for all of the different resources. So I also saw the news that they made some acquisition and they're gonna like double the amount of channels that they're on. I know they're like already on 80 channels or whatever platforms, but they're gonna double the amount of platforms, which supposedly gives you that broad reach all in one
Yeah.
space. And it's good for like a lot of retail. Like if you've got like a retail establishment,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's really good for that. So that's supposed to be a big thing that's happening. So in light of the ChatGPT integration into Siri, So
Mhm.
whoever's listening to this, want them to be able to walk away with three things that they can do to really put this in their favor. I think one would be um, to make sure you're on that Google My Business profile or Yelp or
Mhm.
whatever your directory
Mhm.
channels are.
Mhm.
You got one Jen. I've got a number three. Do you got a number two?
Yes, I definitely have a number 2. Number 2 is making sure that you're digitally ready. So, making sure that all of your data is correct and up to date and accurate. I think that's one of the most frustrating things for people is not having accurate data, or if you drive to a place and they're closed. So, making sure
Yeah.
you're digitally ready and making sure you're able to service people on the back end. That's number
I
2.
like that. I like that phrase, digitally ready. So I think that's super solid. The number three item I would mention that people can do to really make sure their brand is in a good place to take advantage of this is content. And it makes sense
Mhm.
for it to be number three because I could say it three times: content, content, content. So when somebody says best pizza in Philadelphia and that query is on your website, those
Mhm.
things have weight. Also, tagging. So, all the tagging of headlines and H2s and H1 and all those different things that really tell Google search engine and all the different networks out there what your content is, what the level of importance it is. That's how these new, they call it spiders that are crawling the web.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's how they're going to read the information. That's how they're going to read the data. It's one thing for people to read it, but now the internet is reading. Robots are reading it. So you got to make
Mhm.
sure your framework, your tagging,
Mhm.
and all your content is in shape because it's a new day. You got to get digitally ready.
Yeah, that's a tongue twister. Digitally ready.
There you go. So
Mhm.
so I think that's a big thing for today. Some big news this week. We
Big
will
news.
be back with a couple other things tomorrow. But in the meantime, Jennifer J, where can people find you if they're looking to work with you on some go high level automation? Where can people find you?
Yeah, they can go to systemsactivate.com. It is over my head. Systems with an
Boom.
S, activate.com.
All right. All right. Cool. Well, we will be back tomorrow. In the meantime, have an automated day. Awesome.
You
Cheers.
saw that.